Hi all, welcome to educators.com. I'm Harish, software engineer. In this session, we will learn about how to show warning messages for non-JavaScript browsers and different ways to include JavaScript in HTML and what's the best way to include JavaScript in HTML. And finally, comments in JavaScript. So by end of the session, you should be able to understand how to show warning messages for non-JavaScript browsers and what is the different ways and the best way to include JavaScript in HTML. And finally, what are these comments and why we need comments in JavaScript. So let's start with showing message for non-JavaScript browsers. Some of the users will disable the JavaScript in their browsers. The reasons are speed and bandwidth, usability and accessibility, platform support, and security. So coming to speed and bandwidth. Currently, most of the applications will run JavaScript to update the ads or to refresh some parts of the page by making AJAX calls, etc. So as the application loads these kinds of data, the user feels that it's not necessary for them. So to increase the bandwidth and the speed, they will disable the JavaScript so that they can save the bandwidth and increase the speed. Coming to usability and accessibility. People who are blind will be using the screen readers which will read the web applications. But currently, the web applications are dynamic. So due to which the screen readers are unable to read the web applications. So to avoid this issue, they will disable the JavaScript. Third thing, platform support. Some people are still using early versions of browser or devices with limited resources that can't run JavaScript. So this is one other reason whether JavaScript is disabled or not supported. And the fourth and most important thing, security. To avoid these malicious attacks and the script attacks, the users will disable the JavaScript. So these are the four reasons of why the users will disable the JavaScript. But the applications running on JavaScript should show a message to the user so that he can enable the JavaScript, or else the user will not understand why the application is not responding. So to fix this issue, we have a no-script tag where we can write the message which we want to show to user if the JavaScript is disabled. Here in example, you can check that we have a message between no-script tag saying, sorry, JavaScript is required to run the application. Please enable the JavaScript. So the message will be shown when the JavaScript is disabled in the browser. So this is how we handle the issue of disabled JavaScript in the browsers. So coming to different ways to include JavaScript in HTML. As HTML is for designing, to add behavior to the web pages, we need JavaScript. Here we have three different ways to insert JavaScript into HTML. First thing is inline, second within web page, third is external files. So let's start with inline. Here the JavaScript code is written in the starting HTML tag. As in this example, you can check this. Here on click of this button, we want to show an alert message saying hello world. So this is how we write the inline JavaScript code. So the only one advantage of using this inline is we can write the code inline. Let's say we have a small amount of JavaScript code like showing alerts. We can write those using inline. So coming to disadvantages. First thing is poor code maintenance. As the code is been written inline, we will not be able to understand the code flow properly, leading to poor maintenance. This means As the code has been written inline, the developers who will work later on these web applications will not be able to understand the code flow, due to which it is hardly to understand and to maintain. And second thing is lack of caching. Here, the browsers will cache the files which are JavaScript and other resources after the first initial load. So it will not cache the HTML pages. So here we are including the JavaScript within the HTML tags. So each and every time when the user refreshes the page or reloads the page, will load the HTML along with JavaScript, due to which the performance of your application decreases. And the third, sharing the common code. By using inline, you will not be able to share the common code across the tags or across the web pages. So these are the disadvantages and advantages of using inline style of including JavaScript in HTML. Second, within the web page. Here we will write JavaScript at one place where within the script tag. So the script tag is used to define the client-side JavaScript at one place. Before HTML5, we need to mention the type attribute with the value as text by JavaScript to let the browser know about the type of script we are using. Like we have a JavaScript, JavaScript, etc. The browser should be able to understand what kind of script you are using. To let the browser know what kind of script we are using, we need to specify this type attribute. But from HTML5 onwards, we no need to specify this type attribute, as browser will take care on itself. As browser will parse the page from top to bottom, if JavaScript is declared in the beginning, it will execute the JavaScript first. If HTML is declared before JavaScript, it will parse the HTML first. So if you want to execute the script after complete page is parsed, you can place it in body tag or else in the head tag. The best practice is to include the JavaScript at the end of the body so that the user can see some view of the application before the script is executed. If you include JavaScript in the beginning, the user will not be able to see anything of your page until the JavaScript is executed. So that's one reason we need to place JavaScript always at the end of body tag. As here you can see, before HTML5 we need to mention the type attribute, whereas from HTML5 we no need to mention the type attribute. So this is a difference before HTML5 and the after from HTML5 style. Similar to inline styles, here also we have the same disadvantages like code maintenance, caching problem. As the code has been written in single pages, if the complexity of the application increases, the complexity of the code increases, due to which the number of lines of code will increase and will not be able to maintain the code properly. And the second thing is caching problem. Even though we are writing entire JavaScript code within the script tag, since it is written within the HTML pages, this will be loaded each and every time the user refreshes or reloads the page again. So these are two disadvantages of using within the web pages style of loading JavaScript in HTML. And third thing, using external files. We can write the script code in a separate file with an extension as .js, which denotes as JavaScript file. And we can refer the file using the source attribute of script tag. As here you can see, I am referring the bootstrap.js file using the source attribute of script tag. The main important thing which you need to take care is, if you are using source attribute over the script tag, you should not write any kind of JavaScript code between the script tags. So this is one of the important note which you need to take care. Coming to advantages. First thing, cache support. Since JavaScript files and other resources are cached in the browser, this will be not reload each and every time when the user refreshes or reloads the page. So this is one of the biggest advantages, due to which it will increase the performance of your web application. Second thing, better code maintainability. As we are writing the JavaScript code in the separate file, we'll be able to properly document the functionality of that web page and maintain the code in a better way. Third thing, sharing the code across web pages. Let's say here we have a 10 web pages where we will be using the same kind of functionality, or we'll be using some kind of utility functionality. We can write that code into one JavaScript file, which is a common code into one JavaScript file, so that at the first load itself it will be cached, and from later it will be using the cached versions of this script, due to which the performance of your web application will increase. So apart from these three styles, we also have three attributes where the script tag supports, like async, defer, and cancel. Async. The async attribute is introduced in HTML5. So the browsers will not, which do not support HTML5, may not work. So the main intent of this async is it will be loaded asynchronously while the browser continues parsing the HTML. So the browser no need to wait for the script to load. It can load it asynchronously while the browser is parsing the HTML page. Second thing, defer. The defer attribute is used when you want to execute the script after the page has finished parsing. So let's say if you want to perform some operations over the DOM, and you can perform them only when the page has been finished parsing. So to do this, you can use the defer attribute. And third thing, cancel. Let's say you are using different character encoding in HTML as well as JavaScript files. We can mention this cache set of encoding using the cache set keyword. Like you can see here, I'm using the UTF-8 encoding for this JavaScript file using the cache set keyword. So these are the advantages of these three attributes of script tag. So let's start with comments. So what is actually a comment? A comment is a programmer readable explanation in the source code of program. This means the comments are used to make the developer understand the flow of the code. Here comments are used to explain about the behavior of a function or a component or a library. Here we have two types of comments in JavaScript. Single line and the second is multi-line. The syntax here you can check it. Like for the single line we use two forward slashes, whereas for the multi-line we begin with the forward slash and then asterisk, then the commented code or the message, and then with an asterisk and then followed by forward slash. Here single line comment is used when we want to comment a single line of code. Let's say you have a single line of code or a single line of document of that function. You can use comment that single line of code using this single line comment. So for the single line of code, you need to mention the comment before the line of code. Here we have mentioned the two forward slashes before the text. We can also include the comment on multi-line as in this example. Here we are using hi, welcome to educators.com. It is in 3 lines. We can comment these 3 lines using the single line comment. But the difference here is we are commenting each line of code. This means we are using this single line comment at each and every line. So instead of using every line as commented, we can include these 3 lines into a single comment using the multi-line comment. Here you can check is hi, welcome to educators.com. Here I commented these 3 lines into a single comment using the multi-line. Okay. Apart from this, we can also use some tags like to do, undone, etc. to assist in indexing common issues. Let's say you don't know about how to implement a functionality. So you will be making that as a black box where you will be implementing that functionality in future. But to remember for you in future, you will be marking to do in a comment so that the editors will let you know what are the code which you need to work on. And one more important thing, we should not write too many lines of comments in code. The comment should be simple and easy to understand. And currently there are many preprocessors where we can remove the comments from the production code. As there is no necessity to load the comments at the user end, we can remove the comments using this preprocessors, so then we can maintain the developer version as well as the production version of JavaScript. So that's all from this session. Thank you.